What's up, guys? This is JTQ9 of LVT, and welcome back to the channel. So we've got our Winter of Woe Nebula challenge with Surfer for this one. So with this one here, I actually had a lot of fun with this fight. For as long as I've been playing the game, I've never really used Surfer or kind of understand how he worked because it just was never relevant with kind of the champs. I ended up pulling Surfer as a 4-star and 5-star really late in the process. So I never really had the chance to use him very often. But kind of as I got going on this fight, as you see, I took those 5-hit fights there, and now the rest of the fight here is going to go down pretty smoothly. He's kind of fun, I'm not going to lie. And the kind of damage you get once you get all the buffs up, which are great. Being with the node where the more buffs you have up, Nebula's auto block gets shut off. And the idea is with the rotation, to help make this an easier fight, is that obviously Surfer is shock immune. And in fact, being shock immune is great because he still gets a debuff on him, but does 0 damage, basically, and ends up allowing you to heal up. So as I'm down to kind of 22% health at this particular point in the fight, you'll see as we kind of go and I start getting some shocks on me that I end up healing back up a good amount. So the kind of couple things you got to watch out for, obviously, is this being rooted. If you push back and kind of stand there idly, there is a chance of that. So that's kind of one of the biggest risks with this. But the biggest thing is to understand kind of how Surfer's cycle works in this particular fight and to make sure that you can keep the buffs up at all times. So as you see, if you see kind of right underneath my health bar, there's call it the cosmic buff, the power cosmic buff, which kind of always goes around kind of in a circle. And what that does is it alternates. So now that it's up, I have kind of a charge that I can use, and then when I throw a special or a heavy, it will activate whichever buff I choose. So right now, kind of it's like you have the shield, then you have the power up, and then you have the fury after that. So the idea is that the power up charge ends up falling off a lot faster than the fury and the armor up. So what ends up happening is every time you add kind of that third buff, it resets all the other buffs and keeps them active. So the idea is that when you throw your special, and what I ended up doing here a bunch of times is throwing the special from distance as well, just to make sure that I was able to get that power up going and to be able to keep the buffs active, because then that way the auto block doesn't kind of take effect. And if I do land it like there, it's great. I do get the armor breaks on him, but that's not the purpose of this. So the idea is, to kind of attack when he's not unblockable, or when she's not unblockable, it makes it a little bit easier and less risky. But at the same time, as I'm going through this fight, the main thing I'm looking at is I'm actually just keeping track of my timer. I'm making sure that I'm moving out of the way when she's unblockable. And I found that always baiting the SP1 was just a lot easier and a lot safer. Anytime I was kind of, because I didn't get it on the first try, obviously, I'd be naive to say that I was, that good and was able to do it. So it did take me a couple of shots. But eventually, once I kind of got the flow of the fight down with Surfer and kind of keeping an eye on that power cosmic buff that kind of rotates in and out the 3 buffs, and then realizing when I get to a point where the power buff's down, to put it back up and it resets, like I said, the fury and the armor up, and which keeps the buffs up, which then shuts off the auto block. So Surfer in this particular fight was great. Like I said before, I was down to 22% health. I'm now up to 51. And as long as you're paying attention to what's going on, the more buffs you have up, the more damage you do. And just like that, under 200 hits again, we were able to take out the Nebula in this particular fight. So I actually enjoyed this fight a lot, much more than kind of the first time around with Absorbing Man. But yeah, so those are kind of my tips and guides, and thank you all for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.